Okay. According to zeroth law, saying that if two system, they are in separately thermal equilibrium with the third system. That is, A is in with C or B is in with C. They are in equilibrium. Then we can say that if A is in equilibrium with the C and B is in equilibrium with the C, then A and B also will be in equilibrium, in thermal equilibrium. So A and C in thermal equilibrium, B and C in thermal equilibrium separately. Then this, because of this separate thermal equilibrium, we can say that this A and B, they both are in thermal equilibrium. So this is only is a part of a inversion of the temperature. This is the thing we are able to measure the temperature at a particular time. Okay, suppose at noon, what is the temperature at the room temperature, how it is? In the early morning, what is the temperature? Because every time, if how many system in a surrounding, suppose you 5 or 6 students are sitting in the same surroundings, the heat transfer which is passing to each one of you, they are balanced. So you 5 of you in thermal equilibrium with one another. It is not necessary that for an example, Punya in equilibrium with the Gayatri and Gayatri in equilibrium with some other girl, and but even it is like that, you and that girl. So instead of Punya with the Gayatri, I talk Malavika. Malavika in equilibrium with the Gayatri and Punya in equilibrium with the Gayatri. But even you are separate, still Punya and Malavika in equilibrium. So that's the meaning of. So any system in the surroundings. So that is make us to measure the temperature accurately in a particular place. So heat always absorbed and released equally in the case of a practical world. Okay. So that is the meaning of zeroth law of thermodynamics. Okay. So now we are moving on to the next zeroth law of the, after zeroth law of thermodynamics, we are moving on to next one, first law of thermodynamics. Next law, first law of thermodynamics. First law of thermodynamics. So all this system, all these laws are satisfied the conservation law of energy. That's the thing. So first law of thermodynamics is a direct example for that. Thermodynamics also observe the satisfy the law of conservation of energy. So what do you mean by this first law of thermodynamics? If the heat energy is supplied, if the heat energy is supplied, if the heat energy is supplied to a system, if the heat energy is supplied to a system which is capable of doing work, which is capable for doing work. If the heat energy is supplied to a system which is capable for doing work, then the quantity of the heat absorbed, then the quantity of the heat absorbed the quantity of the heat absorbed by the system will be equal to the internal energy, will be equal to the internal energy sorry, will be equal to the internal energy of the system, internal energy of the system, and external work done, external work done by the system. If the heat energy is supplied to a system which is capable of doing some work, then the quantity of the heat absorbed by the system will be equal to the internal energy and external work done by the system. So that means if you are giving a heat energy to particular system and it is doing some work by absorbing that heat energy, so whatever you give, that will be equal to the absorption of the system and how much work it is done, and it is also equal to the energy, total energy of that system while we do the work, because energy is the capacity to do work. Okay, so this heat energy is going to be transferred into, suppose that system is running, then it will be kinetic energy, heat energy converting into kinetic energy. If the system is using that heat energy is using for some magnetic effect, just like a induction stove, the magnetic effect, that is electrical energy transferred into magnetic energy, then magnetic energy produces heat energy. That is how induction stove works. Okay, so all this, so that will be equal. So on the basis, we can write the equation at a particular time, next line, at a particular time, change in heat energy at a particular time. Below that, we are going to represent, this is in terms of a equation, that is at a particular time, change in heat energy del q, the triangular, okay, triangular symbol del q. I am not writing, you have to draw the triangular, capital. Del q is equal to del u, that is change in internal energy, plus del w. So you have to use that triangular shape del. Okay, triangular. Draw a triangle. Del q is equal to del u plus del w. Okay, so w is capital. Okay, so this is the equation of expressing that. That is how much heat energy we are giving, whether it is released by the system or absorbed by the system. That is actually equal to the sum of change in internal energy plus how much work the system is done. Sometimes system, we are doing the work on the system. Sometimes system will do the work. That's it. Okay, just like a car engine is doing the work. So it is work done by the system. Suppose we are giving a heat energy to do some work, making the machine to do. So you are working on the system. So that is the thing. So work done on the system. So that is known as first law of thermodynamics. Let us go to the explanation for it. Good afternoon, sir. Okay, everyone, switch on the video, please. So, message from Dean sir, I think he was here. Those who have network issue, please on the video. Okay, so shall we go to the explanation of that? Okay. So we are now going to detail the peculiar features. So far we have learned the statement and the equation, how we represent the first law of thermodynamics. Now we are moving on to the what are the peculiar features of the first law of thermodynamics. That is, it obeys conservation of energy. I told you that is, energy can be changed from one form to another, but it cannot be created or destroyed. One minute. So cannot be changed from energy can be changed from one form to the another form. It cannot be created or destroyed. That is what we have learned already. Therefore, total amount of energy and matter in the universe remains constant. So even universe is evolving every fraction of second. So you know it, in the universe, new stars, new planets are evolving due to the collision, then breaking of explosion. But we are not feeling it because we are bind to the earth. So what is happening around in the space? So earth is in the space, but we are bind to the earth. So what is happening around us in the space? You are not aware of it. So whatever it is happening in the universe, in that total amount of energy and matter will be remains constant. So that is the significance of first law of thermodynamics. And the first law of thermodynamics, again we are repeating the same point, nothing more. That is it states that energy is always conserved. It cannot be created, destroyed, and because of that, we can say that in an isolated system, energy remains constant. According to first law of thermodynamics, in an isolated system, energy remains constant. Okay, whatever is the energy form, it is remains constant. Now we are going for example. Now how we are going to make it this? For example, we are considering a gas. The initial pressure of the gas is P1, and the final, the initial volume of the gas is V1. And we are going to increase P1 into P2, and then V1 into V2. But when you do the process, we are not going to at a stretch going to change P1, V1 together. No, we keep one particular quantity constant and another one we going on changing. So first, let us think about, we are going to keep the pressure P1 constant, and first we change the volume of the gas from V1 to V2. That's the first stage. I already told you thermodynamic process is a stepwise process. Okay. So in the first stage, keeping pressure constant, then going to change the volume, and volume now changed into V2. Afterwards, you keep volume V2 constant and you change the pressure from P1 to P2. So this is how a thermodynamic system works. At a time we don't change the all that. Okay, so one you keep constant, increase other quantity, then that quantity after changing you keep constant, then come back to the initial quantity to change. So then fully the system now become P1 V1 now changed into P2 V2. It is not necessary. First you can keep volume constant, then you change the pressure, because according to Boyle's law, you already know, according to Boyle's law, PV is a constant. And pressure and volume are inversely proportional. Pressure and volume are inversely proportional. So at a constant temperature, we can vary either pressure or either volume. So that's it. Okay, that's Boyle's law. So we can continuously, repeatedly do this process. And sometimes, just imagine, system now attain energy in equilibrium. Suppose energy in equilibrium, that means internal energy becomes zero. There is no variation. If there is a change only, no, internal energy can vary. Just assume internal energy is not varying. It is now in thermal equilibrium. So you don't have to touch it. So in that case, what happened? According to first law of thermodynamics, there is possible internal energy value can be zero. And in that cases, we can write the first law of thermodynamics equation. Instead of, since delta U is equal to 0, we can also write delta Q is equal to delta W. Suppose energy is stable and energy remains constant. That means internal energy becomes 0. Then in that cases, how much heat energy you give or you absorb, that is equal to the how much work you do. So because already we have learned energy is the capacity to do work. So that is the relation. So how much heat energy you give, that is fully utilized for doing the work. And another feature of the thermodynamics means, so this is first feature means, suppose internal energy remains constant. Suppose internal energy remains constant. That means you don't write entire thing. This is from the textbook. What I am just giving you, only that you write. Suppose internal energy remains constant. That is delta U is equal to 0. Then by first law of thermodynamics, delta Q is equal to delta W. Now, why it happens? This is because, next line, this is because delta U, hello? Okay, suppose internal energy remains constant. Suppose internal energy remains constant in a system. That means delta U is equal to 0. Then by first law of thermodynamics, delta Q is equal to delta W. Delta Q is equal to delta W. Then why these cases arise? This is because, tell me now children, internal energy is intensive quantity or extensive quantity? Last class, yesterday we have learned, no? Okay, Gayatri. Okay, you can't switch my audio. Okay. My question is, question, yesterday we have learned intensive quantities and extensive quantities. My question is, internal energy, is it intensive quantity or extensive quantity? Extensive quantity. Extensive quantity means the quantity which is can be changed depending upon the state of the system. So delta U is a state variable. Because of this is extensive quantity, so it is a state variable. So write down. This is because internal energy is a state variable. Internal energy is a state variable. State variable. And it only depends upon initial and final initial and final state of a system. Initial and final state of a system. It's only depend upon the state. Other external balance will not affect the internal energy. Depends upon initial and final state of the system. While heat energy and work done. While heat energy means Q. Heat energy and work done depends upon path of the system. Path of the system depends upon path of the system. That means how the work is done. Michael, can you tell me, according to mechanics, what is the equation for work done if you apply the force? What we learn in first volume, work done W is equal to, suppose you apply the force, what is the equation for work done? F into something. Do you remember that? I am giving you a clue. F into something. What is that? All these are interrelated. I told you. Volume 1, volume 2 is interrelated. Emmanuel, can you give me the answer? Work done is equal to what? F into something. Do you remember? I didn't get you.
F into
F into
S.
Yes, F into S. What is S, Sri Hari? S stands for what?
Displacement. Displacement.
Displacement. Yes. So work done according to mechanics, general mechanics, for any particle, any energy, any form, work done is equal to Fs. So you are learning according to different branches of physics. We are learning different type of situations. A work done is taking a different equation. That is. So I have told you here, heat energy and work done depends upon path of the system. Path means because actually work done of a system is equal to force into displacement. So if there should be a displacement when you do some work, that means there should be a path. It should be travel in a particular direction or particular path. So that is why heat energy already know. What is the definition of the heat? How does heat transfer? Ashwin, how does heat transfer? How does heat transfer? Always. Is it from hotter region to colder region or colder region to hotter region? Ashwin, I hope you are there.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me. I am already given the clue. How does heat transfer in a system? Is it from hotter region to colder or colder region to hotter?
Hot to cold, ma'am.
Hot to cold. So heat has this peculiar feature. It has this nature. So that is the reason it is also depending upon the path. Okay. Energy does not depend upon path, because you know what is the difference between potential energy and kinetic energy? Krishna Chandran, what is the difference between potential energy and kinetic energy in a system? When can you say you possess potential energy? Krishna, give me answer. Hello? Are you there? Disappeared. When the Dean sir is gone, all the video again turned off. Is that so? Krishna Chandran? Huh? I saw you at a glance when Dean sir was there. Now I saw you. I cannot hear anything from you. At least you say, ma'am, I don't know.
Ma'am, did you ask me, ma'am?
My question is, what is the difference between potential energy and kinetic energy?
Potential energy is a energy possessed by the virtue of its position of a body.
Okay, good. Okay. And kinetic energy?
Kinetic energy is energy possessed by the virtue of its position.
Okay. Kinetic energy means object is in motion, correct? Yeah. Yes, correct. So, because of this only, we are telling that in internal energy of the system is actually the sum of the potential energy and kinetic energy. We have learned in the yesterday classes, and it is only depend upon the state because of this. Okay, clear. So I think that is about the first law of thermodynamics. Okay, and if you know delta Q and delta W, you can find out the delta U. That is, delta U is equal to delta Q minus delta W. From the same equation just to manipulate, you can find out the internal energy of the system. Okay, so that is about first law of thermodynamics. So before we are moving on to second law of thermodynamics, we are going to the application of first law of thermodynamics. Okay. So it is related to first law, second law, later we will study. Let us complete with the first law. And on the process of first law of thermodynamics, you are going to study some important points related. One thing is Mayer's formula. It's a derivation 5-mark question from this chapter. Okay. So next heading you can write Mayer's formula. M-E-I, not the municipality mayor. This is a scientist mayor. Okay. M-E-Y-E-R apostrophe S. This is known as Mayer's formula. Mayer's formula is equal to, you have learned specific heat capacity at a constant pressure. Do you remember that symbol? Capital C, suffix small p. So Mayer's formula is Cp, that is specific heat capacity of a gas or a matter at a constant pressure, minus capital C, specific heat capacity at a constant volume. That's equal to universal gas constant, capital R. That is the Mayer's formula. Cp minus Cv is equal to capital R. So this is on the basis of first law of thermodynamics. So it's a derivation 5-mark question. So that is on the basis of first law of thermodynamics. Mayer's formula Cp minus Cv is equal to capital R. So for that, let us go back. Okay, we are going to assume a cylinder contained of a gas. We are going to assume a particular vessel which is consists of a particular gas and fitted with a piston. Okay, so you can write it down below that. Assume 1 mole of a gas. Assume 1 mole of a gas assume 1 mole, V-O-N-E, 1 mole of a gas enclosed in a cylinder enclosed in a cylinder by a smooth frictionless piston. A smooth frictionless piston. So here is the gas, this is the gas, and here is the piston. So you can draw a rectangle just like that. I cannot draw exact rectangle. Draw this rectangle, and across the rectangle, first line, draw the first line A straight. That is first position, and second position, that is little more straight for me, that is A dash. And inside you can put some dots to indicate that it is gas, and it is also have a small area, small a. So this green part, the green color paint, what I am drawing here, that is the thing that piston when moved, it has moved to a new position A dash. So it was on A first, then it moved to a new position capital A dash. May I, instead of E, just write A, capital A. Not M-E, M-A. Have you drawn, children? Have you drawn that symbol? One rectangle, make one line A, and after that another line A dash. And you can shade that A dash. Why? It is piston has moved from position A to A dash. That is why indicated. And inside part, there is gas.
Ma'am, can
Yes.
you show that again?
That you draw properly.
Ma'am,
Okay.
that same is there in the textbook also?
No, textbook, that picture is not given. So that's why
Okay.
I have taken from other book. Textbook, it is given separate. Only one graph is given. Let me check, okay? Textbook. I have not seen this. No. Textbook. This is the Mayer's formula derivation is given in terms of differentiation. Okay. The same thing I am going to give you little more different way. But both are same. Okay. There's not difference in that. So what is Cp and Cv? Molar specific heat capacities of ideal gas at a constant pressure and at a volume. Okay. Then write down, we have you completed drawing? Okay. Then
No,
below
ma'am.
that, yeah.
Ma'am, I did not complete.
Okay, okay, sure. Okay. Let me show. Actually, this you just draw that line, 2 lines, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And that in between you just shade it to tell
Yeah.
that piston moved from this position to that position, okay? And inside that scratches what I have given, that is the presence of gas inside. Okay, so like that you make it. Okay, so I don't think we will complete this. In a initial some introduction point we can write, and next we will deal in the next class. Okay, so write down Cp and Cv. Did you write? What do you mean by Cp and Cv? Cp and Cv are molar specific heat capacity. Since we have considered the gas in moles, here we can write Cp as molar specific heat capacity at a constant pressure. Cv equal to molar specific heat capacity at constant volume for an ideal gas. So we are not talking about the practical world. We are talking about ideal gas. That means no other resistive forces inside. Okay. Then below that you write, by first law of thermodynamics, by first law of thermodynamics, by first law of thermodynamics, we have write that equation, delta Q is equal to delta U plus delta W. Delta Q is equal to delta U plus delta W. In bracket, you write, I already asked you what is work done equation. So write down, we have work done is equal to Fs. That is equal to, since it is in the case of a pressure, the gas has a pressure and area, we can write instead of F, you can write Pa, pressure, instead of F, pressure into area from the equation pressure. And instead of S, you can write V. Why? Because area into displacement, already we have learned in the case of a cylinder, area into displacement is equal to volume, pi r square h. Do you remember? Since we consider it as a cylinder, pi r square h is the area volume of the cylinder. Pi r squared stands for capital A and h stands for V. So with that we can have a PAV. In bracket you write. Thus, what we write in the equation of thermodynamics, you have already written, no? Delta Q plus delta U plus delta W. So next line, thus delta Q is equal to delta U plus instead of PV we can write P delta V. Delta V means a small change in volume. That is equation 1. Delta Q is equal to delta U plus P delta V. That is equal to equation 1. So I am going back to that screen. I don't know how you have written. Where it is? Okay. Here in this V, no, instead of V, what we supposed to write? Yes.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, the PA, how?
PA means pressure is equal to force by area. Correct? Pressure equation.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Pressure is equal to force by area. You have already learned. Therefore, from this, force is equal to what you will get? Force is equal to P area. And we also have learned the case of volume. Volume, it is actually equal to area into length or displacement. So in this case, displacement. The previous chapter, thermal properties, we have used to prove that equation of continuity, fluid chapter, properties of fluid we have proved, and equation of continuity AV, like that. In that we have used area into length is equal to, length of the container is equal to volume. So that is why Fs become now PAS and that is equal to PV. That is equal to PV. And the W is equal to Fs, that is equal to PAS, that is equal to PV. So you have to change that equation. Work done is equal to, last you are getting PV. Okay. And according to first law of thermodynamics, it is change in volume, change in pressure. No, so that is what we are writing in that equation. This one, P delta V. Instead of PV, we have P delta V, where delta V is the change in volume. Okay. So let us close the class now. So we will meet at 3:15. We continue the Mayer's formula there. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.